All right, guys. So we're live in the group again, and this is part two of our discussion with Felicia Grimes pertaining to time management. So if you're watching now and you missed this on Tuesday, definitely check out the part one. It was pretty entertaining, especially some of the comments that were dropped into the live and going back and reading through those afterwards. But if you missed that before, so Felicia, she's a college professor. She's also a social media expert. She's here to talk to us more about time management, and I'm excited to hear what else that she has to say. Before I roll this over to Felicia, if you're watching this now, just drop in the comments down below, hashtag live. If you're watching it later, hashtag replay. All right. So Felicia, if you want to go ahead and get started and kick it off from here.
Okay, hello everybody. I'm so glad to be back. And so if you missed part one, you missed some juicy tidbits. It was hilarious. It was so many inside jokes going on. I had no idea what was going on. Only Chris and maybe somebody named Dean knew what was going on. Okay, so hopefully we have a couple more of those little tidbit moments. And so I think it was very helpful to kind of help people kind of get on the right mindset and path in terms of time management, because that's the reason why some people can't get their businesses like all launched, doing certain things on their checklist because they're overwhelmed. If you can get through the overwhelmed element, there are a couple of reasons why people don't have efficient time management. A, they're overwhelmed. B, they lack courage. And they have procrastination. That's number 3. And so that's just a typical human nature. You know, you have so many people that get online, they want to start their business and they want to do certain things, but they allow so many things to cloud their judgment. They have so many, like, for example, you know, with you, Chris, don't you have like, I know you do training. In order to prep for your training, don't you have to do some mindset to get you motivated, to get you encouraged, and then you have to lay out your plan? Kind of walk me through like your process.
Yeah, so what I like to do with that is I like to do it in advance. I don't like to do it that day. If I do it that day, I feel really rushed. So I might give it some thought a couple of days in advance in terms of like what it is I might want to cover. All right. And then the day before that I actually do it, then that's when I actually sit down and try to process what it is that I want to go over. I might like jot it down on pen and paper. I find that honestly, it's easier to try to clearly think through a whole process if you write it down as opposed to trying to type it on a laptop. It's certainly much better than trying to just wing it and not have any sort of a plan in place. But that's what I like to do. I like to jot it down, and then after I'm done jotting that down, I'll come back to it later and then actually like read through it and see, does this make sense? Is there any changes I need to make here and so forth? So that's my process.
When I look at your lives, you know, that's why I said you're a teacher at heart. Like, you are an undercover teacher. And I just think you don't, I mean, I see it clearly because you're very meticulous and methodical about like your process and how you teach and how you go over things. It's like, you know, I'm thinking in my brain, like, dang, he's got it behind the scenes, because I don't know you like that. So behind the scenes, I'm assuming like, he's got like a little lesson plan going on, because you follow a systematic approach. And when you do that, when you deliver your content, people really resonate with it because you planned it out. So in my opinion, you've got to be very efficient on your time management. I mean, their classes, because I taught them so long, yeah, I can walk in and I can do some stuff on the fly, but that's years of like knowing your content. But like even for tonight, okay, we did a part 2. I don't want my part 2 to sound like somebody else's part 2. So yeah, I did a little prep. Okay, so I think it requires preparation. And how do you navigate that preparation? And so I discovered something I didn't know about you clearly, that you have you have 2 small children, right?
That's correct. Yes. Yeah, so 4 and 7.
How do you navigate your time management around that? Because that seems like, oh my God, that's like a job itself.
It is. It really is. Yeah. I stay up late. I don't go to bed until like 2 in the morning. So that's a big part of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just get a lot of it done and then pick them up from school. And then we got dinner and feeding the dog and walking the dog and so forth, family time. But then after that, after they go to bed, then I just pick it back up and continue working.
So or you do kind of like, I know you do the block scheduling where you're blocking out so much time to do certain tasks, which is brilliant. Um, or you sometimes when you wake up in the morning because you was up kind of because you kind of remind me of my brother's schedule. He stays up like 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock. I mean, I'm really a night owl too, but guess what? I be having like 8 o'clock classes, so I can't do that. So, um, have you thought about like in the morning doing your most critical tasks sometimes along with we talked about the top hot five list? Do you incorporate your critical task at the beginning of your day?
Not exactly at the very beginning. So like I might get up at like 5 in the morning. So I'll do some lighter stuff then and just kind of ease into the day. But then after the kids are gone to school, then that's when I start taking on those harder tasks, the hot list that you had referred to it before.
Okay. Okay. So you remind me myself when you said get up at 5. I used to get up at 4:30 a.m. when I was teaching like a new psychology class. And I wanted to like I already prepped during the week, but then I wanted to be fresh on my brain. So when I would have to teach at 2 o'clock, I would have already gone over some additional notes, some videos. I mean, it would just be that much like it would be kind of like stuck in my brain. And so I would be, I don't like to walk in a situation that I'm unprepared. And
Right.
so you remind me myself by getting up early to get everything laid out so it can go smooth. So do you automate or delegate or outsource any of your tasks?
Yeah, I do some automation and then do some outsourcing as well. I'm getting better at the delegation part. That's certainly something I need to work on a bit more, but I'm glad you brought that up because those are, I would say, those are elements of your daily process that a lot of people don't really want to delve into. I think they want to own something and they're afraid to give it to someone else. But I think in order to be able to be successful, I think you have to start thinking about those sorts of things in terms of outsourcing and delegating.
That can be a scary monster too because you're letting and you're releasing responsibility and you're putting your level of expectation and your vision and you hope that whoever you have delegating it's like 100% or at least 90% there because nobody's going to be 100% you, but at least like 80 to 90% where then you tweak it and then you're done with it. But does it have to be like 100% perfect?
No,
That's the point. Okay. Okay, good.
no,
Because then you're not stuck on the small stuff. That's good.
right. Yeah,
Because
yeah,
a lot of people get stuck on the small stuff and it overwhelms your time management. Like you're still stuck on the same project for like a week and you could have had 10
right,
other things done. A lot
right.
of people are stuck on being perfect. Now, for me, I have to just start letting stuff go. Like, okay, it doesn't have to be perfect, but is it good enough? If it's good enough, we can tweak it later if we're going to reuse it because I believe in repurposing. If I do a tutorial and it wasn't like 100% the first go around, we'll just kind of like work with it and let it go. Okay, and someone told me this because sometimes you can have a burnout phase like when you teach sometimes, and so I can
Yeah,
say, well, I wasn't 100%, and somebody said, well, your 75% could be somebody, somebody else's like 25%. So you're doing better than other people. So you have to think about that when you're doing special tasks and it's not 100%. You may be doing better than most people, and then like whatever you deliver is like spot on anyway. So do you have that mindset sometimes, like not delivering the 100% and you can just let it go?
yeah, yeah. You know what? I think a huge step in trying to get to that point that you're describing right there is recognition that other people they have already gotten past that, or maybe it wasn't it wasn't important for them to begin with to be that perfectionist. So seeing that other people are uh, okay with getting by with 80% perfection or whatever happens to be, seeing that they're doing that every day and they're succeeding, I think that's a huge factor in being able to say, okay, gotta step back. I can't dwell on this minor task or this minor issue that I need to make perfect. Perfect.
I think you just described a breakthrough for a lot of people because that's a big roadblock for a lot of people why people can't get their content out, like their video content. Like, for example, I'm in the mindset of I have themes, but now I said I'm not gonna have themes all the time. I'm just gonna just kind of flow with it. But when I flow with it, I'm creating everything for 30 days that I post on for my content. And so I'm going to, like I said, maybe I need to be more spontaneous. I mean, sometimes I'll just add some stuff to it. And so sometimes we over plan that it has to be perfect. And so I'm trying to be more, because I see people online, they're very spontaneous. I go, well, Felice, you need to work on that. You don't have to be so teachery. And so, yes, I'm opening up, just listening to you and other people. I'm opening up even my mind space
Okay.
of doing things how people do on social media, because it's not like the way that I do it, like when I'm in the classroom. So I'm learning as I go to just like, remember that song? I'm sure your kids know, Let It Go.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Okay. So this is my next question. Going into the next conversation
Okay.
piece is distractions.
Okay.
How do you prevent yourself from being distracted? What do you do?
What do I do? Um, uh, that is a good question. I think this is where you got me stumped now.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to work on that, just because, I mean, with modern life now, with notifications all over the place, like your computer wants to ask you, like, do you want to be notified for Facebook or your email and so forth, and your phone, of course, is notifying you and so forth. So trying to limit those, that is something I'm trying to tackle. I was actually just talking to someone in the group earlier today about this very thing. Over the weekend, I was trying to purge a lot of groups that I'm just not really active in. I had signed up for them before and checked them out and followed them, but they didn't really fit what I was hoping to get out of them. So I never really went back to them. But I'm not using them. They're there, and they're going through. They're posting stuff, and it's going in my feed, and it's kind of just creating noise. I'm getting rid of that kind of stuff. But I mean, there's other aspects of life too. It's not just digital distractions out there. I mean, there's those other distractions that come up as well, and trying to deal with those. I think those are actually easier to deal with than the digital distractions, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you're on the mark on that one, because it's like when you have your face to face of your everyday life, you can kind of like shut that down. You can put closure to that. But the digital distraction, you said something that really made me think that I need to work on something. Number one, I've turned my notifications off to most of my groups. But what I need to do, because I learned there's a feature where you can download like all your groups or whatever, I'm going to go through my groups and start deleting, like, I don't want to be a part of this group, that group. I mean, I need to just categorize them.
Right.
And it's not about, more training, learning something, connecting with people. I need to remove myself from those groups. And also, because the notifications are very distracting. Like, every time I do a live, I make sure that I turn my notifications off for everything. And so I try to do that when I have something, like, for example, I'm in the midst of end of the semester grades. It's hairy. Okay, it is what it is. So I can't be distracted. I can't have no extra drama. Now, I may listen to a television show, but I can't be on Facebook and trying to grade at the same time. You're going to mess up. Okay?
Right.
Bottom line. And so we have to think about like how we get distracted with one text message, one phone call, all of that. You have to think about blocking that time off, and just, even if you're getting on Facebook for a few minutes, if you don't have all your notifications on, then you can go jump in to what you were going to research right quick and jump out.
Right.
That way it won't distract you. So you mean I'm learning something from you. So I'm gonna really get serious about, like, during the holiday break, is to remove myself from these gazillion groups. Like, formerly, like, no, I don't want to be a part of your group. I'm sorry, but I have these 30 groups or 10 groups that I'm gonna focus on. I mean, like, I got hundreds of groups. It's like ridiculous. Right. But I mean, you just say, yeah. Okay. So, what about, do you work with like headphones just to like zero people out?
I do, yeah. So actually, I got an early Christmas present. My wife had picked up some nice Bose headphones for me to block out the noise, to help out with working and so forth. So yeah, so I've been putting those to good use, and they're certainly helping out.
Now, did you reciprocate with a distraction-free noise gadget for her?
Not yet.
I had to get you. And it's
so I think,
like, go ahead.
I was going to say in the Tuesday conversation, I know that Dean had commented something about you putting me on the hot seat. Well, or actually, I was in the doghouse. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess tonight I'm in the doghouse again. For
Again.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. So think about a little lovely gift, maybe a couple extras because she gave it to you early. Just
right.
saying. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, what about like do not disturb? Like, do you ever turn your phone on to like do not disturb mode?
Yes, yeah, I do. Yeah, I have been starting. Actually, that's a good point. So I have been starting that over the last week and a half. I'll put it on that mode, and it helps because then I'm not checking my emails constantly through the day and so forth. Another thing that I've done too is I'm notorious for having dozens and dozens and dozens of tabs open in my browser, and then I'll have multiple browsers open as well.
Mm-hmm.
So in my computer, like I could have at any point in time 100 different tabs open, all right? And I can deal with that. But the problem, though, that I've found with having all that open is that if you have like Facebook open and you have 3 different G Suite or Google accounts open and so forth, all those notifications are coming up, or if it's flashing, it's distracting. And if it's not distracting, it's there and you see it and you're like, oh, you know what? I haven't checked my email in 30 minutes. I should probably go check my email. So now what I'm doing is I'm just limiting it to basically like 2 or 3 tabs that I'm working on for that hour.
Okay, I use my tabs different. I use my tabs as a reminder of the task I need to do next.
Okay.
So I only have maybe 5 to 7 tabs, and one of them may be my shopping tab. Just saying.
Okay.
So yeah. So do you know how much time you spend online? I get this notification, and there's an app called Rescue Time, and it tells you how much time you're spending. And so, do you know how much time you're spending online?
Most of my day, like if I'm not asleep or like cooking or with the kids or something, I'm usually online.
You
So
may
I don't
want to
know the full.
download that.
Yeah, I don't know how much time, but it's a good
Yeah.
chunk of my time.
It gives you a weekly notification. And it's like my lowest week because I really wasn't online, was like 2 hours for the week. I mean, because I wasn't doing Facebook Live. That's when I gave myself a break.
Yeah.
And so it may be an eye opener for you to see how much time you're spending, because also, it's the wear and tear and glare,
Yep.
on your eyes. I mean, to the point where I'm probably, well, I'm approaching 50. Okay. And so now it's crazy because now every year I need new glasses. I'm on the computer and I'm on too much stuff all the time.
Yeah.
So you're gonna pay for something.
I know.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
I know.
So, what about another time management rule? Have you ever done like the 2-minute rule,
No, what's that? I haven't heard of
where
this.
you have 2 minutes to do a task? Normally, I give myself 5 minutes to do a task, and that
Okay.
could be maybe following up on some email or two. It could be doing some house chores. It could be, maybe you are doing some couple, trying to get your laundry organized. What can you do in 2 or 5 minutes to complete a task?
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I have not heard of that, but I think that's
Yeah,
probably a good thing to try to implement. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
because
gonna have to do
like
that.
I think it's a good idea, because you could probably, load up your dishwasher at least with the top rack.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
In like for 5 minutes, and then you give yourself a break. You come back and do the bottom. So kind of think about like you can break up your little smaller tasks in those 5 minutes, or you have make a like sometimes you may need to make a quick phone call, and maybe you can do it in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna have to try that tomorrow then.
And let me know how that works. I'm
We'll
just
do.
kind of curious.
Yeah, we'll do. I mean, this is a little bit of market research for you, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what apps do you use for your time management?
What else or what apps?
What apps?
Nothing. I mean, I know that I'd mentioned the other day that I have kind of like it's my to-do list that I have in Google Sheets, and then from that, like I have like a subset that's my hot list, but I don't have any sort of apps that are built specifically for time management. I've tried that before, but I just didn't like it. I'm sure there's something out there that would work for what I'm looking for. It's just that whatever I had tried before, it just didn't do it for me.
Okay, like for example, like planning, like on your personal life, planning like your family events, activities, school stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Do you use an old school calendar? I mean, because they have Cozy. You know, you can share. You know,
right.
activities and stuff.
Just Google Calendar, but no, I haven't used I have not used Cozy.
They have a free version, so you can try the free version, see if you like it.
Okay.
What about scheduling time for your like clients or potential people, or having like meetings, like, you know, before you do a Zoom with somebody, do you have a calendar that they can just go to
Yep.
and they could reserve space?
Yeah, Calendly. Yes.
Oh, okay. So you do have
I have that. I thought
great.
you were. Yeah, I thought you were talking about something a little bit different. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good because it's keeping you on track, and that's less emails and that you have to deal with, and you become even more efficient with your time. I mean,
Right.
that's good. Let's see. I'm trying to see. Do you what? Oh, do you have a password app on your phone?
I do. Yeah. Phone and desktop. Yep.
Okay, let's just chat about that for a minute, because
Sure.
hey, I'm old school, and I have a okay. My mom is like 70. And so she refuses to like put any passwords like in her phone or anything. So she was at the grocery store one day. She saw this password book. So she gave me the same book. And so I've gotten hooked on doing that.
All
It's
right.
not that efficient because like every time I can't remember the password, I got to go back to the book. And so maybe you can convince me to use the password app.
Yeah, I think you definitely should look into that. I mean, it's so much more secure, and it's
Is
going to.
it?
It is. It is absolutely yes. The app that I use. I mean, there's a number of apps out there in the marketplace, but the app that I use, I know that a lot of IT professionals use it. The place that I'd worked at before, the IT and web developers had used that as well. But it is really secure. I've not. I mean, I try to keep up on their updates and so forth. I have not heard that they've had any sort of security breaches. The app that I use is called LastPass. Um,
Oh, I've heard of it, but I've never used
yeah, but I'm a little bit I take my security a little extreme, I guess you could say. So basically, what I do is not only do I have this password manager, which it's supposed to be really secure in the measures that they have in place, but I also have something that's called it's like hardware two-factor authentication, and I know that it's like it doesn't really matter like what that means, but essentially what that in terms of like the technical aspects of it and so forth. But what it really does is that with that in place, the only way someone can get into my passwords is they need to have my password to get into LastPass, and they also have to have this wee little tool that I put into my computer. They need to have that. So like someone in like Des Moines or Russia or uh, Cuba or someone like they can't get into that account unless if they have that wee little device that I have, and I have it locked away in a vault. So I'm kind of crazy when it comes to
Wow.
passwords. Yeah.
We're gonna have to connect on some stuff. So you're teaching me some tech stuff that I don't know anything about. Because I know that I need to do some things differently. I'm going to look into the LastPass, and I'm going to just start like little baby steps with a few of my passwords and see how that goes, and then do more and just release.
There you
Okay,
go. Yeah.
because I'm really tired of going to get that book. Okay.
And I bet you're probably tired of like every different website you go to, they ask for some slightly different variation of your password, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can say goodbye to having to deal with that with using something like LastPass because number one, it's going to store your password for you, so you don't need to remember it. And number two, it's pretty cool in that it has a feature where it will generate a secure password for you. Yeah.
And okay, so can you use it for all of your devices? Like that one account takes care of all of your devices. You can
Yep.
be synced up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
See, I mean, you saving me time just going getting that dang on book and flipping
Yeah.
to it. And then sometimes I change my password and I can even remember I changed it again. Lifesaver. I'm
Yeah.
telling
There
you.
you go.
That's something I think most people need to really work on, and I'm going to make that effort, especially in 2019, to not deal with that password shenanigan. And because I was hearing like, you have your phone and then you decide to like go and recycle your phone, sell your phone, and you still have your password. How do you resolve that if you have the last pass?
So like you're getting rid of the
Mm-hmm.
phone itself. So well, what I do is, uh, I mean, all that password information is secured somewhere else, so I can get to it from like my desktop computer or
Oh,
my
okay.
my laptop or something like that. Because you can log into that account on multiple machines. But if I'm going to go to recycle that phone, I always wipe it clean before I actually get rid of the phone to make sure that all of my information is off of it. I mean, I think all the information is off it. You're supposedly told that like when you wipe it off, like it's gone, but like, do we really know for sure that it's completely 100% gone? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
who
That's
knows?
true. I don't know. I would like the audience to, give us some feedback
Definitely.
on what they learned from like part one and part two, and any like time management tools that they're using
Yeah.
that we can all share so we can be even more efficient. Because I love learning from other people. I'm not the expert at everything. So, I mean, you just like introduced me to a whole new world of things today. And Chris, I've enjoyed these two lives we've done together, and I would love to do more with you on other
Great.
topics because you were just hilarious.
You are too. Yeah, that'd be awesome if you come back in the group and talk about other topics. I mean, I know that, like the other day, you were talking about risk taking the other day with Anna, and I thought that was a pretty interesting conversation that you guys had. But I know that you have a number of different topics that
Yeah.
you're certainly willing to talk about. So we'll definitely have you back in the group. Um, let's see. So I'm trying to remember now. Earlier in the conversation, you had mentioned something about courage as being
Mm-hmm.
one of the issues in terms of trying to deal with time management. Can you delve into that a little bit more in terms of
I
like what you're
think
saying?
what happens is um, courage also piggybacks on procrastination, because sometimes like, for example, some of us pay for these different training modules or whatever. So you go through the training, right? But when it comes time to like for implementation, suppose like you did a Facebook Live training. Now it's time for you to go live. It's going to take you courage to push the button to
Yeah,
go live.
right.
And then the courage to have something to say. Now, I know some people delivery is going to be different. They're going to have a piece of paper and they're going to read the whole time. Okay, it's like baby steps. Okay, not everybody
Yeah,
can, do it differently.
right.
But you have to have the courage to get in front of an audience. And so some people never even move forward with anything because they don't have the courage to launch
Yep.
themselves and put themselves out there. And then sometimes you're procrastinating. Say, "Well, I'm not gonna go live today. I'm gonna go live tomorrow. Tomorrow leaves 2 weeks, and 2 weeks, 2 months, and then 2 years. You never done it."
Right.
So you have to think about like if you're going to really use your time management, and if you're going to do a training program that you purchased, you've invested, you have to make the time to apply it. Even if you flounder, I have bloopers and blunders on my Facebook lives. I need to do a 2018 one. My husband's been telling me you need to do one. It's all kinds of stuff is happening. But you just do it anyway and you get through it and you fight through it. And so
Yeah.
when you have that courage to fight through it, then the next day when it's on your schedule to do another live the next day, you'd say, I'm gonna go do it anyway. It wasn't so bad. I messed up. It's not so bad. And then just keep on doing. Because did you have the same experience when you went live? Did you have a little, frightening feeling? Okay, you're a man, so you probably ain't gonna admit it. But
No, I mean, a bit, but you know what? It wasn't as bad as what I had thought, and the only reason for that is because I'm part of a different group, and within that group, there was a lot of questions that came up. And instead of just typing out the questions, I thought, you know what? Let me create a quick little video to try to help someone out. And by doing a number of those, even though I wasn't doing it live, I was just sitting down and doing it, recording it on Loom, and then I would send the link over to someone. Just doing that was good enough for me to be able to overcome that. So when I did the first live, I was like, this is really isn't that bad. Yeah.
You were popping your collar at that point. Yeah. Because I mean, for me, even though I teach, going live is frightening. It was frightening for me for a long time because it's like it was just hard to process somebody on the other side, a gazillion eyeballs looking at you, right? And so I had to get over that psychological
Sure.
barrier. But with you, you had already done your baby step by doing Loom. And I kind of like that. That's kind of cool. It kind of segue you into the whole live
Yeah.
concept. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, so like it's good because you can do it and then you can stop it and then you can go back and watch and like, do I feel comfortable sharing this with someone? And then once you do share it with someone, when you get feedback from others, they're like, yeah, this really helped me out. This answered my problem. And then other people are chiming in and they're saying like, I had that same issue 2 weeks ago. I'm glad that you did that video because now that's answered my question that I was too afraid to ask in the group. So having that social, like that positive feedback really helps with later on when you go do that live. Because then all right, I'm going to get in front of an audience. I'm going to be helping people out here.
Yeah. So then do you see how if you don't just put yourself out there, that you'll never get to it on your schedule? It'll never come off your checklist.
Yeah.
You're just stuck in this
Right.
pattern of you just can't do it.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah, that was great. Yes, you just own it.
Thanks. All right. You know what? So like, you actually went through answering a number of questions that I had.
Okay.
Let's see. I guess I have two questions for you. So one, no one ever like if someone masters time management, no one ever like is born ready to manage their time appropriately. How did you get to that point? Like, what was the aha moment for you in terms of being able to manage your time more effectively? Like, what was it that it took?
Messing up, failing classes in college. I'm just being honest. I mean, I tell my students all about it. It's like, you know better taking an 8 o'clock class. You know you're not a morning class person, and you take the same class over 3 times.
Yeah.
And you fail it. Like, really? No, I've done all the stuff that I preach about.
Yep.
I've done it. So that's why it's hilarious, because I can share with you, don't do it my way, do it better than me.
Right.
And so, but no, on a serious tip, it takes time to like get your mindset ready for that next level. You got to come up with a system. Okay. I'm a system person. You got to come up with a system. If you're not organized, like in your, professional life, it's going to be really, really hard for you to multitask so many different things that's coming at you. And so that's what I had to learn. I had to learn to be a multitasker. And I had to learn to come up with a system and tweak the system, because if what may work one semester may not work the next semester. Sure. You got to be open and flexible to tweak. Like the block scheduling, I think is so important. And the do not disturb is so important. I mean, I'm learning some of the things that you shared today. Like, okay, well, I learned some stuff from him. I'm just not like telling him something. He teaching me something. I mean, which is nice. And so that's another thing, is learning from other people and applying some of their best practices so you can be even more efficient. Now, I'm not just like this person that's got to be like on this regimented schedule. No, I think you got to have some flexibility. You got to have some spontaneous moments sometimes. I mean, to try to break up like your stress level. Like, you remind me a lot about my brother in terms of being up like really late. Cause like, I think, I would stay up, like last night I stayed up to 2 o'clock. I mean, it is what it is. But, he stays up to like 5 o'clock, and then he sleeps like 2 or 3 hours, and he gets up like for business calls. I mean, it's just crazy lifestyle. But he loves it. He's a engineering person. So he just loves it. He thrives off that stuff.
Yeah.
And so for me, I need a little more sleep than 2 or 3 hours. So, if I'm staying up late 2 o'clock, that means that I don't have class the next day, or I have class that starts at 11 or 2 o'clock in the evening.
Right.
So it takes time to come up with your plan, but you've got to start by first acknowledging you have a time management issue. What are the things that are distracting you from becoming more successful? Because sometimes you have people that don't want you to birth this new project or this new business that you want to do, and they're distracting you. And so, I had a couple negative people like in my circle, and I noticed that since I don't really communicate with them that much, I am way more productive.
Sure.
I'm serious. I mean, I have so much stuff on my checklist because when they call, it's no, I don't have time. Do. I got other things to do because really and truly, those people are time wasters. It's keeping me from doing what I want to do and what I need to accomplish.
Right.
And so you kind of want to think about you got to do a self inventory and reflection of how are you really utilizing your time. If you have 2 hours a day to commit to your business, how are you going to use it? You can't use your 2 hours just surfing Facebook
Right.
and being on Instagram and Snapchat. Okay,
Right.
so you got to really like think about, okay, what are your things to do that you have to accomplish? What's your top 5 that you have to do in these 2 hours? So you just have to really just have a moment to yourself to realize, how do you really want to be successful in 2019? If so, what are some good things that happened in 2018 as far as your organizational skills, your time management at work? Add to it and build it. Every year you build up on it. You got to have a system.
Yeah, I like how you ended that there because I think it is kind of important for everyone here in the group or everyone that's watching that with us being here at the end of the year, you need to kind of, I know it's a busy month, but to kind of slow down and try to figure out what I want to achieve in the next year and what do I need to do here in this last month to be able to put myself on that path for 2019 in terms of achieving those goals that I want. So yeah, I like that. I mean, I read something earlier today that actually was talking about that very fact. So I'm glad you brought that up. I think you actually kind of answered my next question. I was going to ask, this was going to be the last question. Like what would be one huge piece of insight that you would want to leave with us? But I'm guessing that might actually be what you're talking about before in terms of having a system in place, right?
Yeah. I mean, you have to, because I mean, the more you fight and you're not going anywhere. I mean, like, I have this vision, and sometimes, you have to envision where you want to go. Like I tell my students all the time, think about like how hard it is for you to take this journey, this leap. It takes courage to leave your neighborhood, to come to a new atmosphere you've never been. You don't know these people, don't know these buildings, you don't know where to go, how to get it.
Yeah.
And then at one point you're gonna want to quit. Envision what it's gonna feel like when you put your cap and gown on, and you got your support team, you got the little bedazzle hat. You know how the ladies like to do it, and you're walking across the stage, and they call your name, and the first thing you want to do is like, oh, hope I don't trip off the stairs, you know?
Right.
And then you walk across, and if you feel like you're walking for like 3 minutes, and it's like 10 seconds, and you shaking the person's hand, that's a moment in time, and you want to think about these moments that you're going to have for your business.
Yeah.
What do you envision for 2019 for your business? I mean, I know I'm already going to say it. It's going to be on steroids for me.
Yeah.
I have some major things that I'm planning. Either you're ready to get on the train or you're going to get off. Because I have so many things I want to do and I want to accomplish. So I'm kind of like doing some training in the background.
Yep.
And I'm tweaking some stuff. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to retweak it, or rebrand it, regroup, and try to see if I can still push it through. I'm not going to let one situation discourage me. I'm not going to consider it's going to be automatic failure. No, just try it again, regroup, replan. And so you want to think about, what are you envisioning for your 2019? How are you going to launch yourself for 2019? I mean, it's cool to do trainings, but it's time to implement.
Right.
It's time to get out there. Like, I know I have a boatload of tutorials I need to just start knocking out. You see, you're motivating me. Like, I need to get my tutorials out there.
Yeah.
Just push it on through and keep it going, because it's on my checklist. So you need to have your business plan, lay it out for 2019. What are you going to do for each month? What's your every month focus going to be? Start planning it out. And then breaking it down weekly. How about that? Did I answer the question?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited now. I have to do the same thing. It's exciting because like everyone I hear from right now, either talking with them in person or seeing them in groups and so forth, everyone's talking about how they're hoping for a gangbuster 2019. So, if you're hoping for it, you got to put the plans in place now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. So, I really appreciate you coming into the group this week and chatting with us twice now. That was really awesome. And we're definitely going to have you back, provided that you're willing to come back in the group.
I'm
And
coming.
all right. All right. Sounds good. If anyone's watching this later on a replay, just put hashtag replay in the comments below. That way, other people in the group will be able to see it as well. It'll bump up the post in the feed, and then people will be able to see it. I appreciate you coming in the group, and just want to thank you for your time.
You're so welcome. And anybody that wants to do a live with me, please reach out. I'm looking to fill my calendar up for the rest of the year and next year. So come on.
Yeah, I have a couple people in this group. They actually have some groups as well. So
Cool.
yeah, so I'll definitely reach out to them and say, hey, you need to get in touch with Felicia.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate you, Chris, for even inviting me. And you saw my other live, and I just appreciate you been watching in the background. Didn't know it. I mean, I had a really hard week. And when you sent that email, it was just joyous. And I appreciate it. And thank you.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. But thanks. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.